What's up, fourth graders? Mr. Way. I'm back with a few math facts. I'm going to try to help with some of these fraction problems. Just kind of follow along. You may have to play the video back a few times if I'm moving kind of fast, but hopefully this helps you with some of the work that you've been having. I wrote down a few fraction problems of different kinds: adding fractions, subtracting fractions, improper fractions to mix numbers or mixed fractions, then mixed fractions to improper numbers, and then multiplying fractions by whole numbers. So we'll go over all of those in this video. It's going to move kind of quick. So like I said, you can watch the video over if you have to, and hopefully this helps you with the work that you're doing. The first one, as you see up here at the top, I have adding fractions, and it's 1/5 plus 2/5. So first thing you'll see is that we're going to have the same denominator of 5, so we know it's going to be in fifths. And then you're just adding. The 5s will stay the same. Then you have 1 plus 2. That gives you an answer of what? If you said 3/5, you are correct. This part is really kind of simple when you have the same denominator. So the answer would be 3/5. And I can draw out a little picture up here to kind of show you at the same time. If you have 2/5, so here we go. And then I'll shade it in for you. So on the first one, we have 1/5. 1/5. Then the second one, we have 2/5. Right here, for the first fraction, I kind of should have spaced them apart, but I didn't have enough room. So the first fraction we have is 1/5. So we have 1 out of 5 here. And then we have the second fraction, we have 2/5. So when you add those together, the shaded parts, you have 1, 2, 3 out of 5. You have 3 shaded parts, so it'll be 3/5. If that's making sense. You have 1/5 plus 2/5 is 3/5. So we move on. We're down here, we get into the subtraction part. We have the same thing. We have 5/6 minus 3/6. Our denominators are going to be the same, so it's going to be 6. So we're subtracting the 5 minus 3, which would give us 2/6. 2/6. And then 2/6 can be simplified. We can drop that down even further because we know 2 goes into 6. We know 2 goes into 6 3 times, so 2/6 can be simplified to 1/3. And you're going to ask how. This is how. 5/6 minus 3/6 equals 2/6. And then when you're simplifying, you know that 2 goes into 2 evenly 1 time. That's 1. Then 2 goes into 6 3 times, which simplifies 2/6 down to 1/3. So we have that. We have adding fractions. I'm going to go over this again. Adding fractions. 1/5 plus 2/5 equal 3/5. Then we go into subtraction. 5/6 minus 3/6 equals 2/6, which 2/6 can be simplified down to 1/3 because 2 goes into 2 1 time and 2 goes into 6 evenly 3 times, which gives us 1/3. Moving on down here, which you can see, we have our improper fractions to mixed numbers. Now right here, we have 7/3. What would 7/3 be as a mixed fraction? I'm going to write it down, then you write it down on your paper. 7/3. What would 7/3 be as a mixed fraction? I'm going to write the answer down, then I'm going to explain how I got it. The answer as a mixed fraction or a mixed number is 2 1/3. Because you got 7/3. You got to figure out how many times can 3 go into 7 evenly. We know 3 times 2 equals 6. So we know the whole number is going to be 2. It goes in 2 times evenly. Then when we subtract 6 from 7, we leave us with 1 left over. So it's 2 1/3. So it'll be 3 times 2 equals 6 plus 1 equals 7, which gives us 7/3. Same answer. So it'd be 2 1/3 is 7/3. The improper fraction 7/3 is 2 1/3 as a mixed number or mixed fraction. Then we have a second one down here, 22/5. What is 22/5 as a mixed number or mixed fraction? Right here, we came out with the answer 4 2/5. We got 4 2/5 right here. I'm sorry, up here. We got 4 2/5 right here, because as you see, it's 22/5. Then we say 5 goes into 22 4 times, which gives us 5 times 4 is 20. You subtract 20 from 22, it gives you that 2 left over. So we know the whole number, it goes in 4 times evenly. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 minus 22 is 2, and that's where we get the 2/5 from. So it'll be 5 times 4 is 20 plus 2 is 22, which gives us the same as the 22/5 we have here. Now, this bottom one is a little different, slightly, because we're adding fractions to get an improper fraction. So we got 3/3 here, 3/3 plus 3/3 plus 3/3 plus 1/3 gives us 3, 6, 9, 10 thirds. So it gives us the improper fraction of 10 thirds. So we have 10 thirds. So now we have to see how many times can 3 go into 10 evenly. When you're doing your 3 times tables, you know 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. So what number did we get to before we went over the number 10, which was 3? 3 times 3 is 9. So we know our whole number, it goes in 3 times evenly. So we put our 3 down. Then we know it's going to be in thirds. So we have our line, and we're here. So right now, we had 3/10. We know 3 times 3 is 9. 9 minus 10 is 1. That would give us the 1 left over right here. So 3/10 as a mixed number or mixed fraction would be 3 1/3, because 3 times 3 equals 9 plus 1 equals 10, which is the answer here, which is 10 thirds. Or if you were really good in math, you know 3 thirds is 1 whole. So you have 1 whole, 2 whole, 3 wholes, and then you have 1/3. Still comes out to the same answer, 3 1/3. So we have that. All right. Next one we're going to do is turning mixed fractions to improper fractions. We have two mixed fractions. Right here, we have 4 2/3. What is 4 2/3 as an improper fraction? We have to take 3 times 4, which gives us 12, plus 2 is 14, which would give us 14/3. I'll go through that again. It's right here. It's our fraction is 4 2/3. We know 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14, which gives us 14/3 again. Then we have the second problem, which is 3 and what I got? No, that wasn't a good example. I gotta give you a better one than that. So I had to give you a better one. Change the problem. We have 3 1/4. What would 3 1/4 be as an improper fraction? So we know 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So that would give us 13/4. All right, let's look at it again as I'm doing this as with you as I'm doing it. Our improper fraction, or our mixed fraction, or mixed number was 3 1/4. To make it an improper fraction, we had to take 4 times 3 was 4 times 3, which is 12. Then 12 plus 1 equals 13, which gives us an improper fraction of 13/4. Y'all see how I did that? 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13, which gives us 13/4. So we got that. This last part, which is multiplying, it's multiplying fractions by whole numbers. You can see the problem here. It's 5 times 1/3. 5 times 1/3. In order to be able to multiply, you have to turn that 5 into a fraction. 5 is a whole number, so we'll make that 5 to 5 over 1 times 1/3. And then we'll multiply, which it gives us 5/3, which comes out to be an improper fraction, which turns out to equal 1 2/3. Now I'm going to show you exactly how I got that answer. We're here. We got 5 times 1/3. Like I said, we had to turn the 5 into a fraction, so we made it 5 over 1 times 1/3. Then we multiply. 1 times 3 is 3. 5 times 1 equals 1, which gives us 5/3. Now we have to, that's an improper fraction, so we have to turn this into a mixed number. Now we have thirds. How many times can 3 go into 5 evenly? We said 1, because 1 times 3 equals 1 times 3 equals 3. So 5 minus 3 leaves us with 2, which makes it 2/3. So it'll be 3 times 1 equals 3, plus 2 equals 5, be 5/3. You see how I did that? That one might have been kind of confusing. So we're going to do a second one. It's 8 times 1/3. You can write this down because I'm going to do the steps and then I'll do it with you. We have to turn the 8 into a fraction. So it's 8 over 1 times 1/3. And then you multiply, which gives us 8/3. Then we know how many times can 3 go into 8 evenly. And we know 3 times 2 is 6, so we're going to say 2. And then 6. 6 minus 8 leaves us a remainder of 2, which gives us 2/3. So the final answer would be 2 2/3. Now I'm going to show you how I did that. We have it right here, 8 times 1/3. We had to turn the 8 into a fraction, so it's 8 over 1 times 1/3. Then we multiply. 8 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 equals 3. Gives us an improper fraction of 8/3. We turned 8/3 into a mixed fraction of 2 2/3 because 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2 equals 8, which gives us 8/3. Now put all these up on the screen again so you can see them. You can kind of see how I figured it out. If you have any other questions, you can reach out to me on Google Classroom or leave a comment on this video on YouTube, and Mr. Wade will help you with your math work. Reach out to me if you need help. Bye.